or sow the seeds of a dream. You can have a ripple effect on the other side of the world and help one very important young woman come alive.
So as I mentioned, this is my first job out of college, and when I was in undergrad, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. You said you're both freshmen and you're a sophomore, so I'm sure you're kind of thinking about what you want to do. Maybe you're not sure at this point. I don't know if you've declared your major or not yet. One of the things I knew in undergrad, not necessarily exactly the direction I wanted to go in, but I knew that I was always interested in sort of international affairs. I loved to travel, so that was definitely something that I had in mind as far as the job goes. So it's been really incredible for me, to sort of have a job where I am able to use those different interests and skills that I learned in college. Definitely important to enjoy what you do. So just a couple recommendations for you guys, sort of as you're moving forward. I don't know if any of you are interested in the nonprofit world or whether you're sort of going in different directions. But regardless of what your interest is, this is just sort of basic, and I'm sure you know, but I will reiterate because I think it's pretty important. It's one of the things that I've learned that it's definitely about who you know. Yes, it's important to study hard and to get good grades, but at the end of the day, really, if you have a connection in a company, or if you have a good relationship with a professor and they can make a recommendation for you, that's really going to help a lot. I actually got this job through a professor who knew the CEO of this organization and made that recommendation. She introduced us, and so that's how that happened. So definitely, I would say volunteer at some different places, especially now with the economy. I would say either volunteer at as many different places as possible. I look for internships as well. There are paid internships. But I would say the more experience you have doing a variety of things, the better. Just because you can sort of argue your case for, well, I've done this, but I've also been involved in these other areas as well. So I think that sort of enriches your experience. And then just be involved on campus. It's great that you're part of Rohwer. If you are integral in putting on some different events and that kind of thing, I think that'll sort of show your leadership skills. That's definitely going to help in a job. And so those are just some really basic things. And if you are interested in the nonprofit world and want to kind of be informed about the different opportunities, whether it's internship, volunteer, or just other organizations that are out there that are in the area, there's a great website called idealist.org. A really great resource. I've used it a number of times, but you can basically search for organizations under different topics, whether it's education or healthcare or whatever. You can search for internship opportunities, volunteer opportunities, job opportunities. A lot of times they will have nonprofit career fairs where you can actually kind of go walk around. There are different organizations that will set up booths, and you can just kind of talk to them about what they have to offer and just get an idea for what's out there. So I think that's all I have. I don't want to keep you guys for too long. But if you have any questions, or if you ever want to talk to me kind of about, how I got involved with this organization, or, if you are interested in the nonprofit world, let me know. I'll give you my email. So, yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Could you go into some detail about the curriculum that girls go on?
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, I didn't talk a whole lot about the program. But it's a year-long program, and it's broken down into 3 different phases. So it's not traditional education in the sense that we think of it, where you have your textbook and you read and then you take a test. A lot of these girls are either illiterate or don't have a lot of literacy skills, so they might have very basic skills. So the first 3 months of the program are spent just kind of catching them up to speed on basic reading, writing, and math. And they do a lot of group learning, so obviously it's a group session. There's 25 girls per program. And a lot of the learning takes place actually through drawing pictures, so illustration, and then they do a lot of acting. And they will act out, they'll do skits, they'll act out different issues in their community. So it's not necessarily like math or science or that sort of thing, but what these girls are learning about about is really basic life skills. So maybe polygamy is an issue in their community, and so they'll act that out. And one of the great benefits of acting things out is that the entire community can be involved. So the students might get together, and then you have the families gather around, and so it's really a learning experience for everyone involved. So that's the first 3 months. And then the next 6 months of the program are spent teaching these girls basic life skills. So things like health and hygiene, problem solving, communication. They learn about their rights. They learn what the laws are in their country. All of these things that might be really elementary to us, things that we grew up knowing, but they might not necessarily have had any exposure to growing up. So really just kind of trying to make them well-rounded individuals in that sense. Also empowering them so that they are confident enough to sort of know what their rights are and then stand up for their rights. And then the last 3 months of the program are spent focusing on an income-generating activity. So I would say the primary ones are tailoring and embroidery. They will do, some of them will learn to raise animals, some of them might plant a small vegetable garden, some of them do beekeeping. So they're all really basic income-generating activities that meet needs that are already in their community. So it's just something that they can sort of engage in to give them just a small income. So that's basically the curriculum. Yeah.
So what do you think got you most interested in deciding to do nonprofit work after graduation?
Yeah. I think I probably decided towards my senior year that that's what I wanted to do. So I went into undergrad as a business management major because I wanted to make money. And I guess it was my sophomore year, I was enjoying it, but I was thinking, I wonder what else is out there. It'd be really cool to kind of explore. And so my university had actually that year just started an economic development program. And I had always been interested in sort of international politics and all of that sort of thing. So I read up on it, it looked really interesting, so I took that up as a major as well. So I double majored, and I would say probably my junior year, I was just really interested in sort of, seeing how the world works and seeing how, what we do over in the US impacts, people on the other side of the world. And so I just decided, that I really wanted to do something where I felt like I was making a difference. I didn't just want to be sitting at a desk crunching numbers, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just felt like, if I was involved in something where I knew that I was having a direct benefit on someone, that I would be more fulfilled, so. Yeah?
So I think you mentioned that you were one of, if not the only employee of the Stromme organization in the US.
Yes.
What's that like being
that's been really interesting actually. They do have a partner organization here, so I work in their office. So thankfully I don't work alone on a daily basis. But as far as the things that I'm involved in, my tasks and that sort of thing, it's been difficult. It's rather isolating. I mean, I have a boss and I talk to him on a regular basis and we Skype. But as far as having someone there on a daily basis that you can kind of run ideas by and kind of brainstorm with, that's been a challenge. I very much have had to be a self-starter. So with this campaign, it was really open-ended. They kind of told me generally what they wanted me to do, and then kind of said, take it and run with it. So I've had to kind of create a lot of things on my own, which has been great to kind of have that freedom and the liberty to kind of go with different things. But it is also difficult. You don't necessarily have a list of 10 things to do today. You have to actually create that list for yourself. But definitely empowering. If that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's give Anna
Thank
a round
you.
of applause.